Paisley, Glasgow. It was also a lovely place. They have 10-year-old boys with potty mouths.
And
write it down.
I do think she was referring to the area...
I stand corrected.
Up on the west coast of near Glasgow, of Paisley. And so, incorrect challenge. So you have the subject still. What are you writing down?
He was 10 years old.
10 years old.
I do understand you're keeping that for future use.
Yes.
Ruth, it was an incorrect challenge. So,
I apologise.
Sue, you still have the subject, and you have 17 seconds on chat-up lines starting now.
Are there still men around who go to young women saying things like, do you like your eggs fertilised or unfertilised in the morning? I can't believe it.
Who's challenged? Ruth?
Repetition of the word like.
Do you like your eggs fertilised? Or...
Saying things like, do you like?
2 likes.
Yeah. Couple of likes.
She's never played the game before. Another point to you, Ruth. You have the subject, and there are 10 seconds still. Chat-up lines starting now.
Chatting someone up is a very difficult thing to do because one...
Marcus challenge.
No, it's not.
But, Marcus, we enjoyed your interruption so much, we give you a bonus point for that. But Ruth was interrupted.
And the disrespect of womankind forever.
And you...
It's worth it for the bonus point.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, of course. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fun we have. Right. So, Ruth, it was an incorrect challenge. You have another point. And you still have 7 seconds on chat-up lines starting now.
Meeting someone for the first time can be daunting and one has to think of something suitable to say that will not make anyone...
So, Ruth Jones was then speaking as the whistle went. Gained that extra point. And you will be pleased and surprised, I'm sure, to hear that she's moved forward. She's in the lead with Sue Perkins. And Marcus Brigstock and Paul Merton are equal in second place. Ruth, it's your turn to begin, and the subject is the art of fencing. 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
Putting up a fence in one's garden can be very difficult because if you don't get the height correct, then your fence will look rather strange. It will fall down, it will look uneven.
Right, the Sue challenge.
It will fall down, it will look uneven.
Yes. So, Sue, you got in with 49 seconds to go on the art of fencing, starting now.
The trick with the art of fencing is to not make your opponent laugh, seeing as you are dressed as a cross between a beekeeper and a mummy. Parrying, lunging may look incredibly debonair, but ultimately you've got a knitting needle in one hand and a teapot arm on the other. It doesn't strike fear into the heart of someone who may wish to enter into a bout with you. Instead, they're more than likely to be reduced to a flood of tears and hysterical laughter. Instead, I suggest try a cannon, much more powerful at close range, plus you don't need the precision. However, fencing we're discussing, and so we must focus on the specifics, which luckily I am very well versed in, because I am Croydon's premier fencer. How I love to grab that foil, as I believe it is.
So, Sue Perkins took the subject after only a few seconds and went magnificently to the whistle and gained only 1 point for doing so. But, Sue, you have gone into the lead now. You're 2 ahead of Ruth Jones and you're 3 or 4 ahead of Marcus Brigstock and Paul Merton. Oh. And we've now with the subject. I'm really embarrassed about this subject they've given me. Because the subject is Nicholas Parsons. What's going to happen? And Sue Perkins, it's your turn to begin. So off you go on Nicholas Parsons. Oh, no, I don't mean that.
It's not Christmas!
On the subject of Nicholas Parsons, 60 seconds starting now.
Nicholas Parsons was born before records began, but we do know he was friends with Methuselah. Aged 24, he struck a deal with Mephistopheles so that he would never age.
Ruth.
Did you say Mephistopheles?
Mephistopheles.
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 I think you said meth.
I don't think we get quite as pernickety as that, Diane. I think we
One
all-
is desperate sometimes.
Yes, I know. Anyway, you could have had a deviation. I wasn't around when Mephistopheles was around, I can assure you.
Nobody's doubting that. It's just the pronunciation that we're worried about.
Your challenge was actually incorrect, so Sue has another point. 47 seconds to speak about Nicholas Parsons, starting now.
Nicholas Parsons invented show business in 1847 and pioneered the use of the cravat, which he still sports, although he compares it sometimes with a lovely polka dot tie. There is nothing so erotic as the sight of Nicholas Parsons. Intervention! Intervention! I've done it again.
Oh, Paul, I know your
There are
challenge.
limits, aren't there?
Yes, I'm afraid. I have to admit, I don't think I'm erotic.
You'll never know now.
I'm neurotic, yes. Paul, I have to agree. You have a correct challenge, and you have 31 seconds. Tell us something about Nicholas Parsons, starting now.
His career began back in the 1940s on radio in a show called Much Binding in the Marsh, and I heard one of those particular episodes on Radio 4 Extra only the other Sunday.
Marcus' challenge.
A repetition of radio. Oh, yes,
yes,
of
you
course. I was
did,
trying to
you
avoid BBC. Because of the repetition of B, but I said radio.
Yes, right. So, Marcus, a correct challenge. And you've got in on the subject of Nicholas Parsons, and there's 22 seconds available starting now.
I'm at something of a disadvantage on this subject because I've never heard of this Nicholas Parsons character. He sounds delightful and fascinating.
Sue, challenge.
Deviation from sense. Everybody's heard of Nicholas.
I mean, that's worthy of a bonus point, isn't it? I'm not going to give it to you out of conceit and say that you deserve that, but the fact that I'm on the show, and you say you haven't heard of Nicholas Parsons, and you're appearing in a show with Nicholas Parsons.
Do you know him?
I thought... You're Nicholas Parsons?
What, the Nicholas Parsons?
I thought you were a mythical creature.
For Nicholas Parsons.
What do I say now? Marcus, we enjoyed your interruption. You get a bonus
No,
point
I
for
was
that.
speaking. It was Sue interrupted me.
I did interrupt.
But I enjoyed her interruption.
Did you enjoy
I did.
So no, Sue gets a point because she was
Yes.
interrupted, takes over the subject, but you get a bonus point
Oh,
because
good.
your humour that you instilled
Oh,
into the
splendid. Good, yes.
conversation. Right. And
And who gets the subject?
you do. 15
Oh,
seconds
okay.
to go, starting now.
There is nothing greater than Nicholas Parsons. He is the show leader part.
Paul, challenge.
Did we have show business before?
Yes.
Oh, show business is one word, though, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it now that
No,
is it
no,
one
it
word?
isn't.
Is show business one word?
I'm going to assume it's two words.
Yes, do.
And say Paul has the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
And if I get lots of letters, I don't think I'll bother to reply to them. And there's still 10 seconds to go, Paul. Nicholas Parsons, starting now.
Nicholas Parsons is someone I've known since roughly 1987, and what a magnificent creature he is. We first met on a television programme being made in Liverpool called Scruples.
So, Paul Martin, speaking as he just went, gained that extra point, but he's still in third place. It's very close, actually. Only 1 point separates them all. And in ascending order, it's Marcus Brigstock, Paul Merton, Ruth Jones and Sue Perkins. And we're with you.
Come in.
Isn't that charming? That little delicate bell tells us not they're going to bring the ice cream round, but it tells us that we only have time for one more round. I expected more reaction than that, actually. Anyway, we have one more round to go, and Marcus, it's your turn to begin.
Oh, good.
Oh, and the subject now, that's an interesting one. My bucket list. 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
I have a bucket list, and it includes a red bucket, a blue one, 2 green, and one that I call Daisy that has...
Ruth's challenge.
Repetition of the word one.
Yes, true.
Well
That's
done.
true. Yeah.
So, Ruth, you've gone in cleverly with 52 seconds to go on my bucket list, starting now.
My bucket list is a film about 2 men who decide what they would like to do before they die. An item on the list of one of the men who appears in the film called the...
Sue, challenge.
2 men. Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Too many men in your life, darling.
Too many men.
Sue, a correct challenge. You have the subject. My bucket list, 40 seconds, starting now.
Were despite presented with the possibility of death, which I'm still hoping to elude thanks to my magical elixir, yours for only $15.99, I would be...
Marcus challenged.
What? Deviation. This is the BBC. You can't advertise.
Not even an elixir of youth?
No, not even an elixir of youth. The closest the BBC gets to advertising is wasting about 8 million quid teaching hippos to dance.
I don't believe there's any elixir which will give you everlasting life.
I said I'm working on it. I'm not there yet.
No.
To be fair, if anyone knows whether there's an elixir to give everlasting life, it is Nicholas Parsons.
Yeah. Vampire.
The benefit of the doubt to you again, and you have my bucket list. 32 seconds starting now.
On my bucket list is a strong desire to go down the Cresta Run on one of those trays that they use for bobsledding, and leaning into every turn and corner. It would be tremendously exciting and probably kill me, so it would necessitate the...
Sue challenge.
Hesitation?
That was a
There
hesitation,
was a slight one,
yes.
yeah.
A slight one. So you have the subject back again, Sue. 19 seconds. My bucket list starting now.
I would bungee jump off a bridge in Sydney. Attempt the world 100-metre record. I would breed llamas.
Marcus
I
challenge.
wouldn't normally, but it's the last round and I know I'm last, and you repeated I would.
I did.
Yes, you did indeed. So, Marcus, 11 seconds. My bucket list starting now.
On my bucket list would be the chance to improve my position on the programme Just a Minute. That is pretty much all I wish for between now and death, which will probably come when the pinger goes at the end.
Paul challenge.
I don't think it's a pinger.
No. It is a whistle, and it has been for 45 years.
Yeah, they're not pingers either, they're buzzers,
These are
aren't
buzzers.
they?
These are buzzers.
What is a pinger?
It's the opposite of a ponger.
No, I think a pinger is the thing that tells you when the oven is
Yes,
finished
that's
cooking.
right.
Or your
and thing.
flight's been called.
Anybody else got any suggestions? Paul, it was a correct challenge, and you've got in with half a second to go. It won't make a lot of difference to the final situation, but we'd love to hear from you on my bucket list, starting now.
Well, given the time available, given it was only half a second, I reckon hesitation.
You both went in at the same time.
I think he should have gone really quickly.
Yeah, I think he couldn't go any quicker.
Really?
So the benefit of the doubt to you on this occasion, Paul...
Got another point.
Another point. And there is a quarter of a second starting
My bucket list is bucket list, bucket list, bucket list, bucket list, bucket list.
Marcus Brigstock and Paul Merton are equal in third place.
Oh.
But out in the lead, well, was Ruth Jones, who's never played the game before. In second place, congratulations, Ruth. Very well done. But the one with the most points, so we say she is the winner, and that is Sue Perkins. It only remains for me to say thank you all to these four fine players of the game. So it's goodbye from this delightful audience here at the Television Centre. Goodbye from me, Nicholas Parsons, and goodbye from the panel up here. So do join us again the next time we take to your screens and we play Just a Minute! Yes!
And starting now over on BBC Radio 4, comedy with Stephen K. Amos and his pick of the circuit's best stand-ups as they build an idiot's guide to life. Here on BBC 2 next, the Italian mob are taking on the Eggheads.